Hi everyone, my name is Nina Melendez and I'm the Virtual Content Specialist for Multilingual Learners and English Language Learners for Mathematics grades 9 to 12. We're going to be looking at our Algebra 1 lesson, days 27 to 31, but this is going to focus on resources for day 27 and day 29. These lessons focus on completing the square and quadratic equations with irrational solutions. So the key words and concepts for these lessons are going to be perfect square, square root, approximately, multiplying binomials, squaring binomials, using the distributive property, and writing our polynomials in standard form. And the main idea for the introduction launches of these lessons is for the students to be analyzing, so to use critical thinking skills. So for your day 27, I have this organizer in which the students can review what multiplying binomials is. Stress a lot that a binomial is a polynomial with two terms, but going in further a little bit deeper, I would say highlight what expanding a squared binomial looks like. So x plus 3 squared expanded is just you multiplying two binomials. Also review the distributive property to make sure that they feel comfortable with the distributive property and that they understand what arranging polynomials in standard form is. For our multilingual learners, organizing the terms in descending order, stress that is from highest to lowest degree. Okay, descending order means from highest to lowest degree. Now, for your introduction launch of this lesson is going to ask the students to compare and contrast and analyze the two methods. Now, some of our English language learners might not know where to start with this since it's a very wordy slide. But one thing you could do is highlight what they should be focusing on. So I would actually provide both slides, one with nothing highlighted that they can read through, and then one just in case if they're struggling that they can actually hone in and focus on. So they have to analyze. What are they analyzing? I have color-coded here so that they see where it is organized. That way they are more directed to, okay, let me look at this work more closely. This is where it's a good starting point. Then they're going to say one feature that both methods share and one feature that is different. The rest of this introduction launch says use either of the methods or another method. So this is all provided in this slide, and this is clearly maybe not enough space for some of our learners, or if they're doing it on a notebook, they might just write this down directly and think they don't have enough space. So a way to organize this is to put less problems per lesson. If you're doing this as a handout or even in a Google slide, you could organize it in this way or select which ones you want to use. So they can choose which method they want to use, or if they want to use a different method, they could do it right down here. Now, one thing that I also suggest is that you can also show them the expanded form and show them the rule of when you are squaring a binomial, that you have a plus b squared, that it's going to end up in the form a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Okay, so for day 29. For day 29, they're going to go back a little bit and they're going to review their perfect squares. Now, at this point, students should already understand that a positive times a positive will give you a positive, and a negative times a negative will give you a negative. Therefore, the square root of a number will include the positive and the negative of that number. Now, this being said, they might have difficulty, obviously, with squaring when it's not a perfect square. So in this, it would be a good moment to hone in on those calculator skills. Show them whether in their graphing calculator or Desmos calculator, where they can find the square root. Now, for example, the square root of 3 equals 1.7320 and so forth. So review rounding with them so that they are able to round off to at least 2 decimal spaces, but stress that it's going to be the positive and the negative. And then instead of using an equal sign, we're using the approximately equal symbol. I always like to tell my students that approximately equals like we're getting close, but we know there's other things. So we're as close as we can, but we can't really pinpoint the exact number. In this way, the students are able to do the analyze portion of their introduction launch and understand what that symbol means when they are faced with it. So finally, in their introduction launch, they are going to have to analyze these two equations. So I've highlighted here similar and different. These are words that our students might have already learned and are easy to identify. So one thing that is similar, one thing that is different. So they will be able to work through this, keeping in mind that they're looking for similarities and differences.